It is, won't you help me if you
See what you have done.
A breakthrough for both of them. I mean, there's no denying that Brian.
Some famous people have followed unexpected paths. Hollywood glitz, fame, and wealth were insufficient to satisfy their desires. Their inspiring tales of bravery, metamorphosis, and purpose demonstrate how, even in the most glamorous lives, the pursuit of meaning can result in amazing transformation. Come along as we look at 20 black celebrities who turned away from Hollywood to follow God. Michelle Williams, best known as a member of Destiny's Child, rose to fame all over the world thanks to songs like Bootylicious and Survivor. She became well known for her strong voice and charisma on stage, but she was also pursuing a more profound personal path behind the scenes. She struggled with depression and felt unfulfilled despite her success. Michelle rediscovered her faith after growing up in a Christian household. Michelle turned her attention to gospel music after Destiny's Child broke up, putting out albums that represented her spiritual development. Michelle attributes her ability to overcome personal challenges.
My girl Kelly's been rocking the red carpet with these amazing, revealing.
Yes,
so I said,
and discover purpose and strength in worship to her rekindled faith. She now conducts worship sessions and shares her story to encourage others. Michelle's story demonstrates how faith can offer guidance and hope outside of the spotlight. Let's talk about R&B singer Montel Jordan, whose life took a significant turn from being at the top of the charts to being a worship leader. You will be astounded by his journey. When he declared in 1957 that he was leaving rock and roll for religion, Little Richard, one of the most charismatic performers in music history, shocked the world. Richard was at the top of his game and was well known for his classic hits, such as Long Tall Sally and Tutti Frutti. However, he felt God was calling him to leave the industry after having a series of apocalyptic visions while on tour in Australia. Richard committed his life to ministry by enrolling in a theological school and becoming a preacher. Throughout his career, he made multiple comebacks to music. But his faith remained a fundamental aspect of who he was. Although he frequently found it difficult to reconcile his love of performing with his spiritual convictions, many were inspired by his unshakable dedication to God. The tale of Little Richard serves as a potent reminder that even the most opulent lives can be changed by faith. Speaking of changes, Della Reese shares a story that demonstrates how even the most brilliant people can be guided by their faith. The renowned rapper and Hollywood icon Snoop Dogg has matched his career with his changing religious beliefs. Famous for songs like Gin and Juice, Snoop shocked a lot of people by claiming to be a born-again Christian. Even as he became well-known, his spiritual foundation remained strong because he was raised by a pious grandmother. Snoop's gospel album Bible of Love, which included collaborations with gospel legends like Fred Hammond, was released in 2018.
That's why I feel like people attract to me, because I'm not one-sided. I'm not just for you, I'm for everybody. I'm the people's champ.
He gave thanks to God and his grandmother for providing the project's inspiration. His desire to openly share his faith was evident in the album, which marked a turning point in his career. Snoop continues to balance his spiritual development with his Hollywood success by incorporating messages of love and unity into his work. His narrative demonstrates how a successful career in entertainment can be shaped and coexisted with faith. Motivated by this tale, you won't believe how inspiring and honest Sherri Shepherd's journey back to faith is until you hear about her. One of Hollywood's most prosperous producers, Tyler Perry, based his success on faith and tenacity. Perry experienced abuse and difficult circumstances as a child, but his mother's fervent Christian beliefs had a profound effect on him. In order to cope with his suffering, he started writing, which influenced his plays and movies. By concentrating on faith-based storytelling, Perry was successful. His stage plays struck a deep chord with audiences because they were full of messages about forgiveness, family, and hope.
That's what I tell everybody. No matter what you're going through, no matter how dark it is, there's always brighter if you just keep moving. Sometimes
he used these same themes in his television series and films when he moved to Hollywood. His Medea series, which combined humor and Christian principles, became a huge hit. Perry frequently discusses how prayer and faith in God helped him get through difficult times and rejection. His stories were influenced by his faith, which also enabled him to give others opportunities. By adhering to his convictions and respecting his spiritual heritage, Perry created a career that inspires millions of people. Known for her part in Sister Sister, Tamara Mowry Housley has made her Christian beliefs a top priority throughout her career. She was brought up in a devout family and remained true to her convictions in spite of the demands of Hollywood. Tamara highlighted the value of family and faith in a 2013 interview, saying, "I know my priorities: God, family, and work." Her career decisions were impacted by this dedication, which brought her to positions that reflected her values.
That time, because, we, as parents, I know for me, I always thought my parents were like the...
She co-hosted the talk show The Real, for example, and frequently talked about her faith and how it affected her life. Tamara has also selected endeavors that align with her values, like her partnership with the Hallmark Channel, which is renowned for its family-friendly programming. Tamara's personal choices have also been influenced by her commitment to her faith. She attributed her decision to her religious convictions and remained a virgin until she was 29. In both her personal and professional activities, her faith remains a pillar, influencing the roles she takes on and the causes she advocates for. Al Green's transformation from soul legend to pastor also demonstrates how faith can fundamentally alter a person's life. Hollywood legend Will Smith attributes his career and life transformation to his belief in God. He was raised in a Christian household, and as he looked for a greater purpose than celebrity, his faith grew. He came to see that his art could serve as a vehicle for sharing his values and inspiring others. His selection of movies like 7 Pounds and The Pursuit of Happiness in the middle of the 2000s made this change clear. These endeavors, which mirrored his increasing interest in spirituality.
In the time, because I considered myself competitive till I spent time with them.
Right, yeah.
But it's just a...
Centered on redemption, hope, and tenacity. Smith claimed that his faith in God helped him prioritize important stories over box office successes during trying times. Smith changed from a blockbuster star to a purposeful storyteller by concentrating on parts that conveyed a deeper message. His career is still shaped by his faith-based choices, which enable him to emotionally and spiritually engage audiences. In 2019, Kanye West, who is well known for his innovative music and extravagant persona, revealed a shocking new chapter in his life. He became a Christian. His gospel-inspired album Jesus is King, which reflected his newly discovered devotion to faith, was released concurrently with the announcement. There were difficulties on Kanye's path to Christianity. He has been candid about overcoming mental health challenges and dealing with the demands of celebrity. He claimed to have gotten saved and dedicated his life to God during this time, finding comfort in his faith. His music and personal values completely changed as a result of his metamorphosis. These days, Kanye uses his platform to share religious messages. His Sunday service events, which combine worship and gospel music, have attracted sizable crowds and generated discussions about faith in the general public. Despite criticism of his path,
Is no one more for clothes than me. And you're just like, how can you get a shot? And then you try.
Kanye has never changed his convictions or their significance in his life. Although David Oyelowo is a well-known actor, what really makes him stand out is his unshakable faith. David has played strong roles that have a profound impact, from Selma to The Butler, but his dedication to Christian principles is equally remarkable. David was raised in a Christian home, and his faith has always played a major role in his life. However, it hasn't always been simple for him to navigate Hollywood while upholding his morals. David has publicly stated that he prays over every position and selects initiatives that are consistent with his principles. He uses his art to emphasize themes of justice, redemption, and hope, because he thinks that storytelling can be a kind of ministry. David frequently uses his platform to talk about the significance of faith in forming culture, and is a strong supporter of diversity and integrity in Hollywood. He views his work as a vocation, fusing creativity and meaning to produce motivational tales.
Not be fighting for segregation. We should be fighting for equality. That is where we should be focusing our minds.
Will Smith is another inspirational story. He left the limelight to embrace a new identity and lifestyle. Terry Crews, who is well known for his humorous roles and vivacious personality, attributes his own redemption to God. Terry's battles with addiction and the toll they took on his marriage caused him to struggle in his personal life despite his success in Hollywood. Terry knew he needed help when he was at his lowest. He resorted to religion and started attempting to mend his relationships and life. He has publicly discussed how God saved his marriage, calling it a pivotal moment in his life. Terry embarked on a healing journey with his wife, Rebecca, at his side, strengthening their relationship and strengthening his faith. Terry now shares his story on his platform, highlighting the value of humility, accountability, and the transformational potential of God's love. He has a strong desire to encourage people who are struggling to ask for assistance and rely on their faith.
Yeah, I can get my rest later.
Mama said you don't like walking us to school.
That's not true.
His narrative serves as a reminder that vulnerability and an openness to change are the foundations of true strength. DeVon Franklin is a preacher, author, and ardent supporter of entertainment faith, in addition to being a Hollywood producer. DeVon was raised in a devout family and knew early on that he wanted to work in film, but he made a commitment to upholding his moral principles throughout his career. DeVon became well known as a producer of movies like Heaven is for Real and Miracles from Heaven. His work demonstrates that films can have both spiritual depth and widespread appeal, reflecting his goal to produce content that uplifts and inspires. In addition to his work as a filmmaker, DeVon is an ordained minister who frequently discusses the value of faith in discovering one's purpose. DeVon encourages people to live authentically by sharing lessons on faith, relationships, and success in his best-selling books, such as The Wait. He freely acknowledges God for directing his professional path and feels that his spiritual foundation is the cornerstone of his accomplishments.
Just allowing myself to feel and not judging, because so often we're like, why do I feel this way? Well, that feeling is all right, because that feeling is...
Next up is rap icon Tyler Perry, whose remarkable journey from music to ministry is sure to motivate. You Can't Touch. This made the world dance, but when MC Hammer abandoned his fame to follow his faith, his life took a drastic turn. He was born Stanley Burrell and grew up in a Pentecostal household with strong Christian principles. However, as he became well known in the late 1980s and early 1990s, success and money drew him away from his spiritual roots. Hammer led a lavish lifestyle at the height of his career, but by 1996, he was having financial difficulties. He hit his lowest point, facing bankruptcy and more than $13 million in debt. This crisis turned out to be pivotal. Hammer found a new purpose in ministry after reaffirming his faith and accepting God. After being ordained as a minister, he concentrated on sharing messages of salvation and hope. Hammer now leads youth programs, spreads his faith, and makes meaningful music. His story demonstrates how faith can completely transform a life. Vanity Vanity 6's seductive lead singer, Denise Matthews, was a 1980s pop culture icon. Famed for songs like Nasty Girl, she radiated glamour and self-assurance. Behind the celebrity, however, Denise battled addiction and led a risky lifestyle that almost claimed her life. She overdosed in 1994, was admitted to the hospital, and was given 3 days to live by the doctors. Denise claimed that while she was recuperating, she saw Jesus and was urged to change her ways. She acknowledged this as a pivotal moment in her life. Denise quit the entertainment business, gave up her stage name, and converted to Christianity. Denise devoted the remainder of her life to ministry, giving sermons at churches and encouraging people with her story. No matter how far you've strayed, change is possible, she reminded everyone. People all across the world are inspired by her journey from vanity to a life of faith. The well-known comedian and actress Sherri Shepherd has always made people laugh. However, her life wasn't easy behind the scenes. She experienced the strain of Hollywood and a difficult divorce. She felt fragmented and insecure as a result of these difficulties. Sherri's faith gave her strength during this difficult time. She prayed to God and sought His direction. She was able to heal and gain a clearer understanding of her purpose thanks to her relationship with God. Her Hollywood career was also altered by this change.
Because you just can't walk in the nail shop. They gotta buzz you, they got a camera.
Sherri began concentrating on positions and initiatives that matched her values. She started to be more picky, picking chances to share her faith and be genuine. She engaged viewers on a deeper level by candidly sharing her spiritual journey on The View. She became a motivational speaker and shared her story, using her platform to encourage others. Sherri was able to uphold her morals and build a fulfilling career in Hollywood thanks to her faith. Her story demonstrates how putting your faith in God can open up a new, purposeful, and hopeful path. Al Green became one of the most recognizable soul singers of the 1970s thanks to his smooth voice and timeless hits like Let's Stay Together. However, beneath his professional glitter, there was a man looking for something more profound. Al started to reflect on his life in 1973, following a tragic event involving a pot of boiling grits and a former girlfriend. Shortly after, Al had what he called a divine calling, which marked a turning point in his life. After focusing on Christianity, he founded the Full Gospel Tabernacle Church in Memphis, Tennessee, after receiving his ordination as a pastor in 1976. Despite his spiritual transformation, Al kept on creating music. Fusing his distinctive soul sound with gospel, Al put his faith first and avoided the secular spotlight while juggling music and ministry. He demonstrated that his voice could motivate people both on and off the stage by using his platform to spread messages of love and redemption. One of the biggest shifts in music history is still Al's journey from soul superstar to spiritual leader. One of the most well-known figures in entertainment, Steve Harvey, has frequently talked about how his belief in God transformed his life and career. Steve's early years were devoted to stand-up comedy and the pursuit of fame, but as he dealt with hardships like homelessness and uncertain career paths, he started to sense a deeper calling. Harvey freely acknowledges that his relationship with Jesus Christ was the pivotal moment that changed his perspective and directed his actions. He claimed that his toughest moments were overcome by prayer and faith in God's plan. He incorporated his faith into his professional and public life.
We're here, and then because my wife loves the grandkids.
Yeah, right.
Grandkids now.
Yeah.
So
as a result of this spiritual awakening. In addition to providing entertainment, he started using his platform to spread Christian-based messages of hope and tenacity. This change is reflected in his career choices. Harvey connects deeply with his audience by incorporating conversations about faith and purpose into his shows, such as Family Feud and Little Big Shots. Steve changed his career to one that inspires and uplifts while adhering to his values by making his spiritual journey a priority. The gifted actress Meagan Good, who has starred in both TV and movies, has always relied on her Christian beliefs to direct her work and personal decisions. Meagan learned the value of upholding her morals in the demanding world of Hollywood from her upbringing in a religious home. At times, her convictions have required her to decline positions that conflicted with her beliefs. Meagan has been candid about how difficult it was to turn down these chances.
Ultimately, all of those emotions and then coming to a place of realizing,
which could have advanced her career. She is adamant, though, that following her spiritual beliefs has allowed her to find peace and has also led to better opportunities. Meagan has succeeded in positions that reflect her values in spite of the sacrifices, demonstrating that faith does not restrict success, but rather serves as a guide. Meagan has inspired others to put their faith first by upholding her convictions and creating a career that reflects her integrity. Chris Tucker became well known thanks to his iconic roles in the Rush Hour and Friday television shows. He dominated Hollywood in the late 1990s and early 2000s, known for his humor and exuberant performances. But when his faith became his first priority, his career took an unexpected turn. Tucker was raised in a Pentecostal Christian household, but as he became more well-known, his faith became less important.
Nobody knew. I remember me and Faison Love, who played Big Worm, when it saw the movie, but it
His path was altered by a spiritual awakening that followed Money Talks in 1997. In order to avoid material that went against his Christian beliefs, he famously declined a $10 million offer to reprise his role in the Friday sequel. Tucker hasn't completely left Hollywood, but he now chooses his roles carefully, making sure they fit with his values. These days, he concentrates on doing stand-up comedy that is appropriate for families and using his career to spread his faith. Tucker's journey demonstrates the strength of upholding one's moral principles. Known for her strong acting and singing, Della Reese underwent a transformation into a religious person that influenced her career. She had a strong religious affiliation while growing up in Detroit, participating in choirs, and even going on tour with gospel icon Mahalia Jackson when she was just 13 years old. Her spirituality was established by these early encounters. After surviving an unexpected brain aneurysm in the 1980s, Della felt compelled to grow in her religious beliefs. She joined the New Thought movement and was ordained as a minister in 1987 under the mentorship of her friend, Reverend Johnny Coleman. Later, she established the Understanding Principles for Better Living Church, also known as the Up Church, where she assisted in promoting faith and hope. Her work in Hollywood was impacted by her spiritual journey. She most famously played Tess in Touched by an Angel, a part that reflected her conviction that inspiration and love should be shared. Della made a lasting impact on the entertainment industry and the lives of people she touched through her ministry by fusing her faith with her artistic abilities. With hits like Feel So Good and Mo Money, Mo Problems, Mase was a hip-hop sensation before shocking everyone in 1999 by announcing his retirement. Mase responded that he felt a strong spiritual calling to give up music and follow God when fans questioned why he left. After giving it some serious thought, he made his choice. Mase talked about wanting to change because he felt uneasy with the way of life that came with his success. After he became a pastor, he founded SANE Ministries with the goal of sharing messages of salvation and hope. Mase insisted that his faith remained at the center of his choices, despite momentarily going back to music.
And I never got the respect I was worth. So that this thing that I got for Puff.
His teachings and testimonies never cease to uplift, demonstrating that eschewing celebrity can result in a more fulfilling existence. The journey of one of the most contentious celebrities, Kanye West, whose faith has been as audacious and unorthodox as his music, will then be covered. Montel Jordan's journey continued after he released This Is How We Do It, one of the most recognizable party anthems of the 1990s. Montel was living the dream as a chart-topping R&B artist at the peak of his career. But something didn't feel quite right. He felt his faith eroding as a result of his success in the music business. In 2010, Montel defiantly quit his record label and distanced himself from popular music. At Victory World Church, a fast turned into a turning point. He claimed that God was urging him to leave the business and focus entirely on ministry.
For that purpose, now I can go back and I can do music again, but understanding it's not about me and it's not even about the fans.
After switching from the stage to the pulpit, Montel became the church's worship leader and released gospel music that mirrored his spiritual development. Montel's story demonstrates that creativity need not be inhibited by faith. He demonstrates that you can create meaningful, upbeat music without sacrificing your morals.